I figured since I'm going to be putting this on YouTube for the sake of being able to share this with my mother, that I would give a little background for anybody that happens upon this video and is wondering what I'm doing. My name is Shayna. I am a retired dog groomer. My mother lives about 2,000 miles away from me. She has a dog that she does not trust anyone to groom other than myself. So in order to help her, because I can't travel 2,000 miles every 4 weeks to groom my mom's dog, this video is for the purpose of giving my mom a few tips and tricks of things that she needs to be aware of when grooming her little dog. She has a long-haired dog. I love you. She has a long-haired dog. Raven obviously is not a long-haired dog, but I figure for the sake of safety tips, I can still use her as a demonstration, and I can still physically show movements to avoid when grooming. I highly advise against grooming your dog at home if you have no experience. It is so very easy to injure them. So I'm going to be giving some safety tips and some things. If you find it useful, that's great. But I do recommend sticking to the professionals if you can afford it. Okay, so the first thing that I wanted to show my mom that we had discussed was how to shave out paw pads. Her little dog's hair grows between the toes very thickly. And that's a very common problem with long-haired breeds. So what I wanted to emphasize is when you're shaving the paw pads of a dog, you're only going to go into, let's say this is the big pad, right? And you've got this gap in here, and then you've got the toes of the dog. Pad, gap, like the dip toes. You never want to shave between the toes. It's very easy to catch those thin flaps of skin right here on the dog and cut them. It's very easy. So what you want to do is, keeping in mind that you're keeping your dog's body in alignment with the natural positions of the dog's body, right? You don't want to have their arm stretched out behind them so that you can see. You need to keep them in a natural position to their own body. So I'm going to be starting with these back feet. I'm going to stand her up and lift here, but notice how her leg is tight to her body. This is a natural position for her. I'm not forcing anything, right? I'm just going to move this a little bit here, and you see this is the big paw pad, right? Raven's never had her paw pad shaved, by the way, so she's kind of curious, what are you doing? So you can start at the toes and go toward the big pad. You can dig in there a little bit, just like that. And you can even skim over the tops of their toes like this to get what's in between. Let me turn it a little bit more. So yeah, you can skim there that way. And you can dig in this way a little bit, gently, to get that hair out of there. And that's how you shave paw pads. I'll do this one too. You dig in there, skim over the tops in between the toes, just skimming lightly in there. And that just gets it flush with the pads. And again, notice that I'm just lifting in her natural body position. I'm not forcing anything. The same thing goes for trimming nails. You always want to keep their legs and their feet close and tight to their body in its natural movement position. A lot of the times people have dogs that absolutely hate nail trims and they can't figure out why. But a lot of times it's because when you're trying to do the nail trims, you're trying to force the dog's feet and legs into an unnatural position, and it hurts, and so they react. They're like, hey, that hurts, stop. And that can lead to a lot of behavioral problems during nail trims. Okay, so I'm going to move on. You're the sweetest little girl ever. I'm going to move on to demonstrating dremeling the nails. Okay, not everybody can afford these, but if you have them, they're amazing. But what you want to do again is keep the dog in a natural position, lift that way. And with a Dremel, you want to hold it like you're holding a pencil. You have a lot more control this way. Don't go at the dog like this. You don't have a lot of control there. There's reason that Dremels have a narrowing spot right here. They have places for your hands, just like a pencil. Okay? And when you're dremeling a dog's nails, you want to do short little strokes like this. You don't want to hold it onto their nail because it burns. If you've ever had your nails done at the beauty salon and they end up burning your nails or hurting you, it's the same thing. Don't hold it on there. Gently, with light pressure, skim it. And notice how in the front, what are we doing today here, huh? Come here. You know what this is. Notice that the way that I'm holding her is tight and close to her body in a natural position. I'm not forcing anything, right? Can you please? Can we? And then I'm lightly skimming. It's very difficult to get that dew claw because it's so tight to their paw. It's very awkward with the Dremel, so just be careful with that. Make sure you're not dremeling their paw pad too while you're trying to get their nail. Raven's nails are pretty short. I keep them very short, so it doesn't... We're a little out of view here. I'll turn it this way. You see how now I'm basically in front of her, right? Right, let me go. Scoots. Okay, so I'm basically in front of her right now, right? And I've just got her in a natural position, not forcing anything, and I can see what I'm doing. And when you're doing their nails, you want to be looking from the bottom of their nail, not out to the top, because the top is very deceiving. It may look like you got a whole lot of nail before you actually hit the flesh, but you don't. So it's always better to go from the bottom. Look at the bottom even when you're trimming their nails with clippers. You want to look from the bottom, and what you're looking for, if they have white nails, is you're looking for a pink, fleshy circle, tiny circle to start forming on the bottom. You don't want to go too far because you will make it bleed. If they're black nails, you want to look for a small, black, fleshy looking circle. So the bottoms of their toes, let me see if I can get it into focus here. It's not focusing. Yeah, I don't know if you can see it. She's got little fleshy pink tings. Little fleshies. Let me see if I can get it to focus. It's not going to focus. Sorry, it won't focus. Okay, so now I'm going to move on to clipper things that you want to be careful with. The number one reason that people end up injuring their dogs when they're using clippers is because they're not being careful about the direction of the clippers versus flaps in their skin. So they have these flaps. They've got flaps right here. This is very thin, and if you're going this way like that, it is so easy to get that skinny little flap of skin right between these teeth. It is so easy to do, and you'll rip them wide open, and especially under here. The skin is so thin, it's like paper. And if you accidentally cut anything under here, you can't stitch it. It just rips and it gets wide open. And another spot that they have these flaps is right here. So when you're shaving out a dog's armpit, you never want to go like this so that you're going to end up catching those teeth on that flap. You always want to make sure that you are hitting a flap like this. See, it's in line with it. It's so hard to explain what I mean by this. Let me turn her this way. Okay, so you got these flaps that run along here. So you never want to go like this on a flap because it's just going to go right between those teeth, right? What you want to do is do the flaps this way. That way it can't go between, just like that. So when you're shaving out under here, you're going to go this way, and you're going to go this way out. Don't ever go in because you're going to catch it that way too. You're going to go out. That way it's going away from the flap out to the end of the flap, and you're like this with it, not like this with it, so that it can catch. The same thing goes for their ears. She's such a good sport. Okay, so for their ears, if you have to shave their ears, you want to hold on to their ears, right? And if you're going over the outside of their ear, come here, my little love bug. This is hard to do when they're not restrained in any way. Okay. So, for their ear, yeah, good girl, good, my baby. You want to make sure that you are shaving their ears with everything pointed outward like that. This is so hard to get. So there's the line of the ear. You want to make sure you're going this way and that way out of it. You want to make sure you're holding on to what you're doing and go out away from that ear flap. Never go like this so that it could, like, this is so hard to do. Never go like this way, because you can actually catch those. So you actually want to make sure you're always with the teeth going out away from it. Or if I'm going to go this way, like this, never like this. Okay, like that and like that. Oh, sorry, that, never that. Okay. If you have to trim their ears with scissors, you always want to make sure that you are holding on to the end of that ear flap, that ear leather, so that you can feel where the end of that ear leather is. You want to put your fingers there as a barrier, and always make sure that you're trimming just outside of that, so that you have your fingers in the way. Also with scissors. With scissors, when you're trimming ears, so you never want to use this type of scissor if you're working with ears. It's a nightmare. It's so easy to get that. Unless they got really long ear hair and it's hanging down, you know, and it's away from their ear leather. Yeah, then sure, you can get that at those edges, no problem. But never do that when you're close to the ear leather. Now, for trimming hair on the outside of the ears with scissors, if you're going to do it, you're going to use straight scissors, right? And you're going to make sure you know where the ear leather is. And you're always going to trim face with the tip of the scissors toward the end of the ear. Never trim that way toward the dog, because they can turn their head, or anything, you stab them in the eye, it can catch the leather really easy. So always make sure that if you're trimming your dog's ears, you're doing it like that, okay? Tip toward the tip. Tip to tip, that way, always, okay? Raven, you're such a good girl. Cleaning dogs' ears. A lot of people tend to take their ear cleaner and just dump it in the dog's ears. It's not really the best thing to do. What I always do is I take my cotton ball, I saturate my cotton ball, not totally saturate, but I get, you know, a good amount on there. And then I squeeze that excess out. Drippy, drippy. So I squeeze the excess out. Now I got a wet, soggy cotton ball. And then just get down in there good with it. You don't have to force it down in there. Just, you know, see, I'm just gently getting down in there, but I'm getting down in there. I don't know if you can see, it's kind of dirty. So she is, I can do anything to this dog. She doesn't complain about anything. Do not use the same cotton ball between ears, because if they have an ear infection or the start of an ear infection you haven't noticed, you can spread it to the other one. And after I've done this with that one wet one, I'm going in with a dry one just to dry out the excess and get the rest of the debris. That way you don't have fluids sitting pooled in your dog's ear. You know, if I'd really thought about this, I would have maybe not done this video right after I had just taken a shower and looked kind of weird. Anyway, I'm going to get this other ear because her ears are kind of dirty. I think at the moment... Oh, one more thing. Sanitary area. the butt. I know it's yucky. And that's going to be very difficult for me to demonstrate on her. I might not be able to because she just has a little nub. And dogs with nubs have a tendency to be protective of said nubs and like to tuck them like they're bodybuilders. Like their tail belongs to a bodybuilder, not a little dog. And it's almost impossible sometimes to lift that tail when they don't want you to. But I do want to go over this because sanitary areas are important. So remember, be careful when you're doing flaps in their genital area. Make sure that you're going away from a flap like this, not like this, right? Now, for the bum. The bum. She has a cute butt. Okay, I'm going to lift her little nub. So, lots of dogs have tons of hair here, and it gets all caked in poop. So, when you're doing a dog's bum, you want to stay to where the blades, the clipper blades, the actual teeth, are not going over the rectum, but you can skim from just the outer edge of it where the hair starts and go that way. You can go that way. Don't go this way too much because if they tuck their tail, it'll actually dig those teeth into the bottom of their tail, and then they'll have a rash there and it'll hurt. So just go like that, outward. Just making sure not to see how I'm to the side of it. So you're going to go that way and you're going to kind of get close and go that way, but you're not going to have the clipper blades directly over their bum, not the teeth. So just make sure the teeth are not anywhere near their actual bum, and you're going to go outward to skim out any excess hair there. For females, if they have a lot of hair here, you're going to lift a leg and you're going to go this way outward. You can go this way gently, but don't ever take the clipper this way because this is where the vulva opens and it's very easy to catch the lip of the vulva. So you're just going to be from the side, you're going to go out. You can go this way as long as you're not going into the vulva. You can skim from the side of it. Bloop. Same thing with dogs with testicles. You're going to be to the side of these testicles. Say this is testicles. You're going to want to make sure that you're to the side of them, not directly on them. It's very easy to catch the skin on the testicles and rip them open. So make sure your clipper blades stay away from them as best as possible. Be very gentle and very careful. I think at the moment this is all that I can demonstrate on this little girl. Since she doesn't have hair, I can't show you how to clip. Well, kind of I can. When you're clipping them, you do want to start from the front and work your way back. You want to follow the lay of the hair. Always follow the lay of the hair. No matter where it is or where it's going, you want to follow that. Okay? You want to have your blades this way and go that way. Don't shave them this way. There are certain instances where that is appropriate, but 90% of the time, you're always going to want to go with the lay of the hair in the direction that it grows, not against it. It's very easy to actually catch them if you're going against the growth of the hair. The skin itself will start to bunch, and you can catch them very easily. So there's methods and a correct way to do it that I'm not going to go over because I don't want you doing it anyway. She's the best little dog. I think that's it for now. I think this is good. If you have any questions, feel free to ask. Good girl, Raven. I'll just give you a nice little shot of her pretty little face, since most of the time she's been butt first. I think she's tired of this. She's had enough. She's been a good girl. Aren't you? Yes. She's the best. All right. Bye.